next week, when you say, "Oh, waiting all day for Sunday night," it could be true because it's Niners Cowboys. I don't wait all day for Sunday night. No offense to NBC, because I have to watch games. I can't wait all day for Sunday night. I got to watch like 13 games before Sunday night. But next week, it's Cowboys and Niners. The Cowboys moved to 3-1 yesterday with a 38-3 win over the New England Patriots. It was 28-3 at one point. The jokes were flowing. 28-3. Patriots are down against Dan Quinn, but old number 12 wasn't on the sideline this time. So maybe the worst game. Well, definitely the worst game I've ever seen from Mac Jones. I mean,
this is
the only Cowboys bounce back from their disappointing loss.
Yeah, the only good thing about this being one of the games we have to cover yet is that this shouldn't take that long. You know the way I generally root for the funniest thing to happen? I will say it's quite funny that just before the game, the Patriots were like leaking that this is going to be Zeke Elliott's going to be like a starter. He's going to get full reps. It's a Zeke Elliott revenge game. He's going to go nuts against the Cowboys, rush for 200, and we're going to win. And it ends up being the biggest loss in Bill Belichick's entire coaching career. Yeah, like before the game, all these reporters, the insiders were all like, Zeke Elliott's he's going to get the bulk of the work this week. It's not going to be Ramondre Stevenson. It's going to be Zeke in his Cowboys revenge, which means it's come from the Patriots somewhere, right? But it's kind of funny that was like the preseason or the pregame narrative was, hey, this is going to be a Zeke revenge game, and it ends up literally being the biggest loss that Bill Belichick has ever sustained in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's funny. That is objectively hilarious.
Yeah, Zeke had 6 carries for 16 yards. The first drive, I didn't catch the first drive because Fox wouldn't let me, but
gotcha.
I saw the highlight of Demario Douglas.
The highlight.
For the model. One of the best spin moves you'll ever see. There was a 42-yarder to Demario Douglas on the first drive, and New England ends up kicking a field goal. It's 3-3 on their first drive.
Yeah.
And then after that, the Cowboys scored the rest of the points.
Yes.
Mac Jones was just
awful.
Spastic. I don't know. I mean, like he gets this deer in the headlights type of look every now and then. And, like, this was it, man.
Everything he did was bad.
He left the pocket. There was a fumble 6.
Yep, which was bad.
And then he leaves the pocket. There was a play where he rolls to his right and throws back all the way across the field with his poo arm. And it worked.
Poo arm.
Yeah. And Greg Olson on commentary did a good job saying, most quarterbacks don't do that. They don't get away with that. Most of the time, you got to be careful when you do that. And like 2 plays later, he does it again. It's pick 6.
You also have to be, you have to be especially careful when you're working with Mac Jones' arm,
Yeah.
Like, it's just a.
I said poo arm.
No, I know. It's a simple rule of physics that you can be less careful if you have Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Anthony Richardson arm than if you have Mac Jones' arm. You simply have to be more careful. You have a smaller margin for error. So when you're putting your entire life essence into getting the ball all the way back across the field to the left flat late in the play, that's probably not a good idea. And it turned out it wasn't. Mac Jones.
And then it just kept getting worse.
Yeah, just a collection of some of the most ridiculously terrible plays he's ever had in the NFL, all in the same game.
2 official interceptions, but he probably could have had another pick 6 in there. So it was rough. I don't want to say Mac Jones was benched because when you're down 35, at some point you're just putting the backup in. But Bailey Zappi came in at the end for Mac Jones. And I think Belichick said, hey, he's going to be the starter.
Yeah. Did the Cowboys intentionally run a fake point after attempt pass? Or was that like a botched snap?
I didn't see that play.
I don't know. The holder passed the ball to Chauncey Golson for 2 points. It looked like a fake play. Like I don't think maybe it was like the scramble thing where everyone's has a designed spot to get to so that if it does break down, it's not like everything on the fly. But it looked very rehearsed for it to be completely ad-libbed. But maybe it was. I didn't see the snap itself, so maybe it was just a botched snap.
I don't know.
Anyway, that was kind of funny.
I happen to miss that play. This was the game of the week. This was, a lot of people's frustration that there were 9 games in the 1 o'clock. When you have to watch every game, 9 games in the 1 o'clock hour, 3 in the 4 o'clock hour, all of which were, well, they weren't all blowouts, but they were close. The cleanest game of the season for Dak Prescott. I think we mentioned on the preview show. I mentioned at least. I'm not going to overreact, right? The last time the Cowboys laid an egg that badly was Week 18 of last year. They bounced back great the next week. That's what they did in this game. So it was another week of dominant Cowboys, right? I mean, the defense turning it over. Their highest turnover rate in the NFL under Dan Quinn over the last few years with the Cowboys. It's a tough thing to sustain, but they have. Dak, very clean game. Like, it was just the Cowboys' high end remains incredible. You just never know when they're going to lay an egg.
That's
like
the thing.
Cardinals.
If you just take out that Cardinals game, the Cowboys look like the best team in the NFL. But then that game is in there. You're like, what the hell do you do
the
with
same
that?
thing I said, like the Bills.
No, I know.
Take away 3 throws.
But the Bills, even, you can sort of limit it down to, like that was a Josh Allen meltdown. Everything else was pretty good. But the Cowboys, literally, everything went to hell against the Cardinals. But if you simply pretend that game didn't exist, we would be saying the elite teams in the NFL are, whoever, and Dallas. Like, it's kind of bizarre, just a total aberration in their season.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still a Cowboys believer because I see what they're capable of. The narrative's going to be bad, though, if they – it's only week 5 with the Niners, but it's going to come down to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Dallas will be in the playoffs, and if they have another poor game in the playoffs, the narrative won't change. But they are capable of making a run as much as the Eagles or the Niners. Yeah. They are right there with those teams. One last note here. Mac Jones, remember somebody asked me the other day, have you ever seen a rookie start this well as CJ Stroud? It was a CJ Stroud question. Yeah. We've seen RG3, I don't think hit the ground running, but by week 5 or 6 you kind of knew. Mac Jones' first 10 or 11 games were really good in a good situation in New England. Other guys have been in that bucket. But Mac Jones, since week 11 of his rookie year, he was playing well through week 11. Since week 11 of his rookie year, he's ranked 27th out of 36 quarterbacks. So, bottom 8 or whatever, bottom 9. After a very promising rookie year, I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback play his best ball in his first 10 or 11 games. I don't think I've ever seen that. And I'm not saying it's all been a disaster for Mac Jones, but it certainly hasn't gotten better after a really promising start. I don't know what to do with that, right? You expect the opposite with a lot of players, but that's going to create for an interesting offseason, I think, or maybe midseason in New England if Mac Jones keeps playing like that.
Yeah, that was just a complete and total
This is with Bill O'Brien, too. This is the lowest scoring output the Patriots have had since 2000. That was Belichick's first year with Bledsoe at quarterback.
The cautionary tale. I think there's been quite a few rookies that have started really well right out of the gate. Now, maybe certain records, right, are different. But the cautionary tale for let's not get too excited just yet. Remember Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz's first 4 games were he had a 90 grade. He had 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. His numbers are off the charts. Carson Wentz looked like a god in the first month of his career, and for various periods.
Yeah, Wentz's start was played well against bad defenses, went up against good defenses, Zimmer, and struggled. But the next year, it was okay, he was an
MVP level, and then now he can't get a job.
Right, but Mac Jones right now, his best stretch of football is the first 10 games of his career, and we're in year 3. That's weird. But rare.
Specific to the CJ Stroud thing.
Yeah.
He's playing really well,
Stroud
but we're a month into the season. We've seen players literally the first month of their season, or the first month of their career is spectacular, and then now they're not in the league anymore, and it's not because they're old.